The Haney curl, or how you could describe a supinated easy bar front raise with 90-degree bend in the elbow joint, is a really good exercise for the front delts. And it's also a really good exercise for training the bicep with a stable insertion point. So we have origins and insertions of musculature. The origins are where the muscle comes from, and the insertion point is where it goes to. The origins of both bicep muscles are in the shoulder, and the insertions of both biceps are in the forearm. And so nothing else is really important within the scope of this video, but basically when we do a front raise like this, and we keep our elbow at 90 degrees, and then push up towards at the top, what we're doing is shortening the origin side of the bicep. So you'll see here I've kind of pushed up this way a little bit as well, because this is predominantly a shoulder exercise, but it's just slightly beneficial for the bicep as well. So we don't really need to talk about the bicep component anymore, but now we need to talk about the shoulder component. And that is basically, so when we go into this arched position like this, we pull our chest towards the ceiling, we're putting our front delt into a slightly stretched position. And then as we go through the range of motion from here up to here, we are in close to end range of motion up here. It's really difficult to train the shoulder through a full range of motion where we can get load throughout the entire movement, both at the stretch component of the movement and at the squeeze component of the movement, which is what you really need for a bodybuilding based movement. I find this movement gets pretty close, and it feels amazing for your shoulders, and it feels very good for your biceps as well, because it's a bit of an isometric contraction from the bottom end too. So keeping the 90-degree bend throughout the first part of the movement, you're trying to keep your chest tall and just try and lift the weight. The initial part of that lift there is coming purely from the shoulder joint. That is not coming from the bicep. All the way through till about here, that's all shoulder musculature doing that. And when you get to here, instead of curling the weight over your head and putting pressure onto your triceps or onto your elbows, once we get up to this vertical forearm position, you just push straight up towards the ceiling. So it's kind of like a supinated shoulder press as well. Most people will have a range of motion restriction that won't allow them to go all the way up to a full overhead shoulder press. Where I'm kind of ending up here towards the top, this is fine. You've got a good shoulder activation at this point, and then as you lower down, you kind of lower back into this isometric bicep curl, which actually ends up being an eccentric lowering for your shoulder as well.